She's 40 plus and still single. Thinks she's a catch or past her prime. Past her Optimus Prime? Seriously. Past its prime is an idiom that means something is no longer in its best or most productive state, or that it has declined in quality or usefulness. Interesting. It's often used to describe a person, object, or situation that is no longer as strong, effective, or capable as it once was. It's past. It's gone. It once was, but no longer is. Now, in this case, in terms of dating, modern dating, a lot of men feel this about certain women at certain ages when it comes to dating. It's always the 30, 40 plus, isn't it? Even when we as men don't even mention it, a lot of women themselves seem to feel it, think it. Interesting.
As a female, if you're at least 40 years old and you're not married, you're washed up.
Damn. Wow, that's quite intense coming from a woman as well. We get it, some men will say this, but a woman saying it? Damn. Easy. Okay, what context do you have to say that a woman 40 plus is washed up if she doesn't have a man? Explain.
Tune in. There's a reason that man ain't put a ring on your finger. There's a reason you're not married yet. There's a reason not one man has decided to settle down with you.
Because she's a golden tool and her past represents who she is now.
You're washed up.
I hope you're focused and on your square. Who she is now, interesting. I'm just saying, waffling. There are many reasons why a man wouldn't put a ring on it. For one, in a lot of cases in modern day and time, you're sort of making yourself a victim if you do put a ring on it. But it is an interesting question how a woman could go through decades of her life and no man claimed her in such a way. Did she deny and reject those men? Or did no man ever see her as that level of quality to begin with?
There's a reason. See, the problem is y'all want to be outside, y'all want to be single until it's too late. And then the women that do get married around 20 something, 30, they want a divorce later on when they're in their 40s, potentially 50s, because they feel like they rushed into the marriage. They feel like they came into the marriage too early and now they want to be outside again. Tia Mari. Nobody is going to marry a 40-year-old woman unless you look like Megan Good.
I mean, honestly, yeah. Look, as men, more than enough men will tell you there are a lot of women 30, 40 plus who still look good. But the one thing you can't deny about time is accumulation. Things have been accumulated, gathered over time. And in this case, sadly, in a lot of women's cases, it's trauma, baggage, debt, just so much from her past that defines who she is now.
You're washed up.
It defines who she is now. So even if her age isn't a problem, that's fine. You're 30, 40 plus, that's fine, I'll still date her. Yeah, the experience, baggage and trauma of a woman at that age, that is enough to turn you off as a man. Now this woman's saying washed up. And even in being modest as a man, I mean, you can't really deny it. In a lot of cases, a lot of women are at that age without a man because she is.
You're washed up.
Washed up. I mean, it's not a guarantee, but are you going to take the risk and chance of finding out? Yeah, good luck.
Honestly. And 90% of the women in this world do not look like Megan Good. There's like a 10% of women that do look like that, and those women are usually cuffed up or they're getting tricked on and basically getting their bills paid. But the other 90% of the women out here are living regular lives, and they feel entitled, and they feel like a man is going to come knocking on their door with this big engagement proposal. It's not like that. Get out of this delusion.
What a lovely upfront woman, making some very interesting and good points.
They feel entitled.
Making some very interesting and good points. There's a lot of points that we as men know. We know this as men dating in this age bracket. We know this. Look, it's not all bad. It's not saying women this age are washed up. Nah, come on. However, you can't deny and escape the fact there is a lot. There is a lot. The thing about being in this age bracket ourselves as men, as millennials, is we were there in the 20s when these women in their 20s were having all the fun in the world, drinking, smoking, effing anything that moved. Yeah. So regardless of the individual woman, we as men were around, and yes, we were partaking as well and having our fun as well, of course, obviously. We could bust some nuts, obviously. But a lot of men have grown up and they'd side-eye women of the same age bracket. They're like, damn, I knew what myself and other women in the same age bracket were like when we were younger, when we were in our 20s. Some of us were getting too extra freaky, and now, a lot of women can scrub up good, put on makeup and look good. But a lot of men will feel as if she's still...
You're washed
up, sadly.
45 to 55-year-old in that decade is the most common time for women to commit.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is why my next book I'm writing right now is on the mental health of menopausal women, because we're struggling.
You know, I made a video about this a long time ago. In this age bracket, as well as past traumas, you're dealing with mental health as well. Also physical health as well. Yes, on one hand, her body's fallen off a cliff. Them titties are dragging on the floor, but seriously.
We're struggling.
The bodily changes as well. Menopause. I've made a video on this a long time ago. And the interesting thing is, if men are educated, like grown men our age educated in this, we may not have any idea what's going on with a woman. Her hot and cold flashes, the random mood swings. It's like, are you okay? Are you okay? My point is, a man who's not educated in what goes on with a woman's body at this time period, it's going to make it difficult for him to understand. For him to know, is it his fault? A lot of times as men, we feel like we get blamed for nothing. What if a woman's going through so much and she can't explain it herself, and a man just thinks, oh, this is my fault. Dealing with her is too much, and just trying to love her and give her attention, it's not even really working. It's not even really working.
Bruh.
But to add to it again, the mental state of women in this age bracket. I mean, if she's lost her looks, lost the attention she once had, I mean, that can cause depression, can't it? Can make her feel less about herself. And I mean, and you as a man, what could a man do with that? She's almost going to make you suffer because of
Struggling.
her suffering? Come on, that's not attractive. Come on.
So the first thing you have to know is that after 40, our sex hormones start to decline.
Damn.
So estrogen goes up and down. So one day you're going to experience, if you live with a 43-year-old woman, you're going to experience, she's great. Next day you're going to be like, who are you? That's because her estrogen is on a roller coaster ride. So that's the first thing to know.
Think of how many divorces have been initiated simply because of that. On one hand, you can say it's simple. On the other hand, if a man has no idea what's going on, he's just being effed over because of how she feels right now. I'm just saying.
Second thing is that progesterone is plummeting after 40. They actually say now at 35, progesterone is starting to go down. So as progesterone goes down, we are less stress resilient. So little things are going to irritate us like they've never irritated us before. And you might be the recipient of that. So if you find we're very triggerable, it's because we're losing progesterone. So we just need to have more breaks. We need more nurturing, like I explained in the menstrual cycle. We need to have more love brought our way because we just can't handle stress the same way.
And that's a good point. Scientific point. We fully understand what she said. But think about what a lot of men would go through in this time period.
We need more nurturing.
The amount of effort they'd have to put in just to manage this woman's feelings. It sounds like a lot of hard work, doesn't it? And what about if a man can do that? He can do that. He can be that guy, attentive, caring, understands her bodily changes. Does it mean he's going to be appreciated? Does it mean his effort, attention and care is going to be appreciated? Sadly, no. No, it doesn't. In some way, it's almost expected, isn't it? Or because you're with her, it's expected for you to be this. Blindly caring without any care for self. Yeah? Again, it's understandable, but there should still be some balance here, shouldn't it? Should still be some balance.
And then as ultimately estrogen finally goes into a place where she's non-existent once a woman doesn't have her cycle, we can't hold on to information the same way we used to be able to. We forget things. And it's really frustrating to us. And so when people around us, like I went through this with my team, when I was trying to get my menopausal hormones in check, they would say, well, you already told us that. Yes, you reminded us of that. And I started finding I was repeating myself. And then I realized, oh, I'm at a new level of low of estrogen.
Damn. And this isn't funny, but think about nagging.
Too. We forget things.
I mean, think about nagging with everything she just said. Like, imagine a man and he's getting nagged over and over again about the same thing that he's possibly already done. But because of what's going on in her body, lowering estrogen, whatever. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't even have any clue that she's basically annoying the F out of this man, driving him crazy with her issues.
Just like a woman.
Again, another point, another problem. But from men's perspective, this is what a lot of men have experienced and are dealing with right now, in many cases. So meeting a new woman at this age bracket, if he's unaware of these changes, he's only going to be able to judge her from her actions. If he has no idea about menopause or anything, he's going to think, damn, this woman's she's a bit crazy. She's got awful memory. And she doesn't even seem that interested in sex anymore. I mean, the ick. There's nothing here for me. That's not even in a bad way. That's a man weighing out his options. And even when you try to be rational about it, the options just still seem, I mean, we can have some fun. But if you don't want to, what's the point?
And then I worked, working with some bioidenticals, working with some lifestyle to bring my estrogen up. But from 40 till about 55, that is about a 10 to 15 year period where the woman's brain has to recalibrate to these loss of hormones. And so our moods are all over the place during that time. So understanding where we're at, having more compassion for us, not taking us on, and just helping us understand ourselves, which is largely what I'm trying to do through my books, will be so helpful. But we don't even understand our own selves. Menopausal moods are treacherous.
And that's the point. So how is a man able and expected to do that? If even as a woman you're struggling with it yourself, how can they put so much pressure on men to expect a man to just fully understand? I mean, that's not possible, you know? So with everything in terms of modern dating and everything, these points should be put forward more. Because when certain things are understood, I mean, as a man you can make better decisions, can't you? Yeah, you can. And for a lot of men, yeah, this sounds like too much work. Like, my God. This is extra work I never expected, and if I've just met you as a man, I'm not even sure if I like you yet. Like you enough to do that. It sounds like a lot of work.
It's an extreme sport.
I'm 6 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Okay. And my child's father, all within a day of finding out that I was pregnant, that I may have an ectopic pregnancy, going to the emergency rooms, spending hours and hours and hours getting poked and prodded to find out that my baby's okay and in my uterus where they should be, and my hormone levels are where they should be. So, and within a day of finding all that out, the father of my child said he doesn't want this. He doesn't think this is a good idea, and he wants me to not keep the baby.
Struggling.
Okay, lovely woman. This woman's 41 years old, pregnant. And for context, she's a side chick, was a side chick. Now she's pregnant, 41, and the man wants nothing to do with her. Yeah, nothing to do with her.
Doesn't want this.
Okay, on one hand, you could say at this age, you'd expect a bit more logic, a bit more caution, a bit more care and maturity at this age to randomly get pregnant as a side chick. Yeah, I mean, you'd expect more, wouldn't you? Indeed. Now, a lot of people would blame the man. Yeah, he's a man, he's got a woman at home, yet he's got a side chick, whatever.
No one cares.
This is a grown woman enough to take her own responsibility and accountability for her own actions. But what I want to add to her as well is desperation. I mean, let's be honest. I believe this woman is sort of like this because she's desperate at that age. She's desperate. It's her first kid at 41. So what happened in the past, 21 years? What happened? And this is what a lot of men face in dealing with women 30 to 40 years old. The air of desperation. It's like, yo, look, we can have some fun. But it seems like you're sort of, I don't know, eager for something that I possibly can't provide as a man. And even if you can, do you even want to?
Let me be very clear that my child's father was very aware of what was going on. This wasn't like nobody was trapped. He repeated over and over and over again how bad he wanted us to have a baby, how bad.
Look, I'm not co-signing his BS. He love-bombed you, and you fell for it. But again, at 41. Like, I mean, how are you so naive at that age? Again, unless you're desperate.
He wanted me to have a baby, how bad he wanted me to get pregnant. Sure. And then I get pregnant, and he's like, no. And today he told me, well, listen, you have to get rid of the baby because actually, I'm married. When we got together, thought we were getting divorced. I had requested a divorce. Things was done, I thought, but that didn't happen. And now I'm trying to work my marriage out. So you cannot have my baby. So now here we are. And I'm trying to keep my stress levels down because one of the reasons they thought it was or wanted to rule out it being ectopic pregnancy was because I was bleeding and still having a little bleeding issues.
Okay, an ectopic pregnancy is when a fertilized egg implants itself outside of the womb, usually in one of the fallopian tubes. The fallopian tubes are the tubes connecting the ovaries to the womb. If an egg gets stuck in them, it won't develop into a baby, and your health may be at risk if the pregnancy continues. Interesting. So in briefly learning what an ectopic pregnancy is, and this woman being 41, we can admit that at this age, pregnancy is a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing, isn't it? We understand it. However, she was caught up with a man. You could possibly say, she was in love, and she let herself get pregnant. Yeah.
Doesn't want this.
Okay, whatever. But in some way, this woman's put her life at risk, and her child's obviously at risk. Men say pick better and choose better. This is a grown woman. She's still making mistakes you'd expect from a 20-year-old. So in many cases like this as a man, you can't afford to be naive.
Focus.
You can understand her plight, but it's like, woman, come on. At your big age, you're still making childish mistakes.
You know, I'm trying to stay calm, keep the stress down, so I don't harm my baby, but I'm just struggling because I'm trying to figure out why I needed this.
Did you need it though?
Why I needed to be, I'm trying to ask God, like, why I needed to be bent and broken and snapped in this way.
Look, we understand she's upset. At 21, I'd be a bit more understanding. 20 years ago, woman, 20 years ago, come on. I at 40 plus, women expected me to be of a certain level of maturity. Same to you as well.
I was minding my business, y'all. That man was persistent to even get a chance with me.
Sure.
And we were damn near living together. And then to say, and now my poor baby. I didn't want this life for my baby. And you know what? I'm 41. I don't have any children. This is my first child. I didn't ever even think I wanted any. So I certainly wasn't trying to but now it's here.
Look, no offense, lovely woman, but it seems as if you're looking to blame someone else other than yourself. This is all on you. You can call him a bad man, but he's still a man. This is on you.
Just married the whole time. Intentionally got me pregnant, and once I got pregnant, told me I don't want nothing to do with this.
So I'm afraid I'm going to die alone. 39, not married, no children, and sometimes I wonder, what has society done to women that makes us so scared of our age? I talk to 31, 33-year-olds who say they're terrified for their future. But the truth is, we're comparing ourselves to single women from a different era. They had different options, different laws. Our moms couldn't even open a credit card until 1974. Egg freezing didn't exist. We are the first generation with real choices, real power not to settle. So why would we assume our life paths would end similarly? Spinster life might be praised in 2050, not scary like in Pride and Prejudice.
Spinster life might be praised in current times. Okay, yeah, indeed it might be. However,
Afraid I'm going to die alone.
as we saw with the previous woman, every woman at this age bracket is not in the same boat, same position, even the same thought process in life. Yes, women can freeze eggs now and they can put off having children to later on in life, put off marriage to later on in life. But the truth is, most men don't want to marry a woman who's later on in life.
You're washed up.
Because if kids are a part of his future, he wants them to be a part of his future. Doesn't matter how great you are in your life or where you are in life as a woman. I'm not saying at that age she's past her prime and washed up, but I mean, come on. If he wants a family, in that case, yeah, you are.
We will end up living next door to our best friends, building big lives together at 80. This is pretty wise. My unofficial lectures to my younger self.
There are many reasons men are cautious about dating women of a certain age. Because what she's been through then, whom she's been through, the hurt she's experienced and felt, it sort of determines what you're going to get from her now and in the future. And in a lot of cases, it does not seem bright, does it? The world is yours. Have a nice day.
You're washed up.
Struggling.
Doesn't want this.
Afraid I'm going to die alone.